Hello, 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 welcome. It is Friday the 13th of October, and it's great to have you here. How you doing? Ready to learn, ready to grow? It's getting a little bit darker in the evenings, but I hope you've had a good week and you're ready to finish the week strong, so we can go into the weekend a little bit more at ease. Doot, doot, doot. I hope you're doing well. Hello, 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 friend. How you doing? And thank you for saying to press that thumbs up. It's really easy. All you do is go to youtube.com and hit the subscribe, thumbs up, hit the bell so you'll be notified. Hey Cheryl, great to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome on your Saturday, all the way in Australia. I just saw a little fly move around. Interesting. And hello, Michelle. Great to have you here. Nice, that's what we're after. It is. What temperature is it? I haven't actually left my place today, so I don't know. But I think it's 75-ish, I think. Hey, let's check. In San Diego, not so sunny San Diego, it's a bit overcast today. Weather 72 with a low of 56 today. So guess what? My windows are gonna be open. Oh my goodness, how you doing, my friend? It's been a long time. Happy Saturday to you. I know that you can't always make the my week, your week streams, but I know sometimes you pop in on your Saturday. 51 degrees, oh my goodness. It's gonna not even hit that low in San Diego tonight. I'm doing good, I'm recovering well. I still hurt. Oh, look, can you see that? I didn't even notice that. See how it's kind of yellow? So if you didn't know, I took a tumble and I scratched myself. I'm healing though. Just some little bruises and cuts, but I didn't notice that. Look how yellow that's gone. Ooh. At least it doesn't hurt as much to touch anymore. I didn't even recognize that. Can you see that? I can see that. But I was running in the trails and I tripped, tumbled, rolled around a little bit, got dusty, ripped a bit of my clothing, scratched up my phone case. Thankfully not the, it did crack a bit of the screen. But my AirPods did remain intact, so we're okay there. But I'm feeling good though. I feel a little bit achy from it, but not really. Hey Joe, welcome. Welcome back. I've been pretty good, been busy working today, organizing a presentation, which I'm doing not this week, but next week for I guess I could say, but it's a big county in California, Child Protective Services. So I'm going to be speaking with them about how to maintain their state in overwhelm and stress, having to deal with all the things, which I've done before for an English county when it came to Child Protective Services. So I'm excited to get into that. Yeah, did you? I know you posted that earlier. But yeah, I've got a bruise. A bruise, as far as I can tell. Nice, well, congratulations to your brother. Busy with life is good. I know I'm very, very busy-ish. Well, I've got the whole weekend off, but I'm gonna dedicate a day of it to working, or at least half a day. Obviously I do my usual plan my streams, but I've got some recordings I want to carry on doing for my clients, so my custom tracks, and I want to finish off this presentation as well. And I've actually got some video recording I'd like to do, so maybe I'll leave one of those, or the recording or the presentation, till Monday, one or the other. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm feeling okay. Yeah. Fell into the rocks and the stones and got scraped up. Did you hear him, did you? He was looking at the hummingbirds. I'm waiting for him to get into his... he's not going to get into the place. He's just jumped up in my chair. But what you saw on Instagram, but on the hypnosis session, when all your eyes were closed, when you were watching live, I was doing hypnosis with him in my arms, like that, because he was getting out of control. So I had to do some kind of heavy editing at times for the podcast episode. Yes. Was that the one? Wednesday? Well, hopefully we can work with that. I was going to say you got a new profile picture there. That's awesome. Of course, I can see you onto the left there. It's always nice to gain a new family member, isn't it? Exactly. And with all, you know, budgets and what my plan is to connect them back to why they do what they do, because sometimes we get stuck in, I've got to do these things, but if we can go into value work as to why we do what we do and how we can fulfill not our values, but other people's values that we serve, we will be more connected. You fell asleep. That's okay. It was late. Yeah, it can't be when I'm working though. The one stream of the week, I need silence. He's usually pretty good for the actual hypnosis session. I always say section and session as one word sometimes. But this Wednesday, he was out of control. So what I do is I try to play with him before I go live, make sure he's got food, and go from there. That's what we try to do. I need a bit of a wake up. You too. Other than that, not too much to report. It is Friday the 13th though. Do we watch scary movies on a Friday the 13th? Oh, that's good to know. Yeah. One thing, because I know you guys are amazing with Mr. C, because you know him, right? Like, he's part of our family of the online streaming, as is Lil Sebastian. Cuddles just went, but sometimes I'm concerned for those listening to the podcast episode who don't know him, because I always edit out, obviously, the pre-show and the after show, and I don't want them to be like listening and going, is there a cat in my place? I don't even own a cat. No thank you on the movies. Yeah, I have to say I'm a bit of a fan. I like to test myself. That is true. Did I tell you about the story of me? I was about 15 years old, and I woke up and the cat was in the room, my bedroom. And what I realized very, very quickly is I didn't even own a cat. Someone else's cat jumped into my bedroom in the middle of the night, or like early hours of the morning, and I had to get the cat out. So that was so I always had dogs growing up, so I never had a cat, but I did that early hours of the morning. So when I think of like people listening to the hypnosis track and they hear a cat, they're like, there's a cat. I don't even own a cat. So I try to be mindful for the listeners. I know. This was in Cambridge, England. Where like you don't see cats running around here because they're not safe to. They're like indoor cats, really. But in England, a lot of the cats, I believe, just roam. They have free roam. Yeah, that was a big surprise to me. Hey, Sue, great to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Friday to you. Well, lots of love to your Abby. I was never, ever a cat person until I met Mr. C. The day, I remember it clearly, the day he gave me a little excuse me, a little headbutt. I was like, this boy is pretty good. Oh, I bet. Yeah, I kind of like them, but I know if physically we can't, then we don't. Yeah. Like I said, I try to there we go. I was doing a video yesterday, so I was moving my camera around, but yeah, I like things to be good and clean and clear when it comes to doing my best. Even like the free hypnosis, I'm doing it live. I want to be able to do it really, really good. So, and I'm a bit of a stickler to sound. There we go. They're astrocats. Astrocats. Astriocats. Really? Yeah, that's true though, isn't it? So it's Kai? Rowdy? Have I got Kai right? I kind of like them. Mr. Cuddle's making sounds already. Hey, Mina, great to have you here. Happy Friday. We should be starting in a few moments. And it should be easy to remember the episode number. Episode 881. Yeah, he just had a bit more food, and now he's gone into the other room to not sunbathe because there's not much sun today. I need to get him like an artificial sunlight. What's that, 19 away to 900? 900 episodes? 900 episodes? So 900 episodes, I have 400 hours. I'm not a professional podcaster. Don't they say you need 10,000 hours? Exactly. He likes to be seen, right? We all like to be seen and heard. Sometimes he's not always seen, but he definitely likes to be heard. Yeah, that's all I got. That's all good. Hey, Melody, great to have you here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Friday to you. Special 900th episode. So we're 19 away. Divide that by 3. What is that? So mathematics isn't my strong point. But what's that, like 714? No, 770, 7-ish, 714. So that's 3 weeks away. Ish. So 3 weeks away. That means it'll be before I go back to England. Which means, yes, we should do something special. But I don't know what to do. What would we do? I won't even know what to do. He's alright. Oh my goodness. I bet. Well, Mondays are good because they're more motivational ones. Yes. You heard. I am retiring. The podcast for live streaming is done. We would have completed our mission. 1,000 done. Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. I was just saying, can you see a bit of that bruise? I'm kind of healing up though. And my cuts. No, this one. I don't know if you can see. See that kind of yellow darkness? That's a bruise. Oh. Okay, Friday will be fine. It doesn't matter what day. Monday and Friday are preferable. Yes, thank you, my friend. Great to have you here, you superstar. I go back to England around, I don't know. I've booked my flights. But around... I'll count backwards a little bit. Probably around the 19th. Probably around the 19th. And I think I leave on the 19th, get to England on the 20th. Then I'm at my dad's for like 4 or 5 nights. Then I'm at my mum's for like 3 or 4 nights. It would be 5 nights, but she's actually then going with me to Cambridge. So my mum and my brothers, nieces, nephews will be there over like the new year. I get back probably around the 4th or 3rd. But yeah, let's retire after 1,000. I mean, what else can you do after 1,000? What else can you do? Mr. Cuddles is getting into mischief, so we'll have to wait for a little bit. Do you think we could really go to like 2,000? Maybe. Some do. But I have to be really reinventive, innovative to come up with new thoughts and ideas. But yeah, you can download my free hypnosis app at freehypnosis.app if you haven't already. Let's get a quick closer look. Right here. If you've noticed a bit of a delay time on the app opening, don't worry. We are fixing it to put it out Monday. I've got the test version already, and it now takes 1-2 seconds to load. I'll do it again. Oh, 1 second to load. So the app is getting a speed enhancement. I noticed some little bugs on this trial test version. So my app developers are fixing those. But when it's out next week, the app will be super, super quick. Yeah, 2,000 would be good. 10,000. I don't think I'd even be around at 10,000. I don't think podcasts would even exist. Oh, that's funny. Having a little conversation. Does anyone speak cat? And I go, meh, meh. I heard that means something. Yeah, we're gonna make it really, really fast. Like I said, at the moment, I've got to walk around my mic when I do this. Open the app. Bang. Open the app. Bang. That's how quick we're after. Of course, we've got to, right? Of course. Yeah, it's been a while. So now Mr. C has settled down. I think we should probably get into today's episode, which is episode 881. And they do. That is precisely why the things we do for pets. It's precisely why I've got around 10 hummingbirds right out here. Because of Mr. C. That's why. I mean, I would like the idea of doing it if I didn't have Mr. C. But the purpose was for Mr. C. But there's no squirrels where I am at. But the hummingbirds we get a lot of. Like there was around 10 or 12 just a moment ago. But let's start today's episode. Let me mix up to a different drink. And get to it. And then I'll see you on the other side of the episode recording. So we'll slow this down a little bit. Remember what I'm talking about. And we missed you too. We missed you too, but it's good to have you here. And they are pretty awesome. They're so small. I didn't realize how small they could be. My eye. Yeah. Especially this kind of day. And I noticed, we'll put music for a second. So I'm in a rivalry at the moment with my neighbor. They have a hummingbird feeders. And in my mind, it's a little bit of a competition. But when their feeder gets low, they all go to mine. And when mine goes low or gone, they go to theirs. Obviously, I'm not in competition. I bet. Okay, now let's get on to today's episode. Turn down that music, please. Thank you very much. And then, as if someone's here doing the music for me. And then we'll go ahead and get into today's episode. Let's get to it. I've got to press the button. Ready? Or 1 second. Okay. Ready, steady, let's go. Okay. We gotta stop that. Melody, why did you put your comment on the screen right then? That would have made my editing a whole issue. We gotta start over. Melody. Jeez. Let's do a fresh start. Okay. Oh my goodness, Melody. Always, people in this chat always creating trouble for me. Let's get going again. Ready, steady, let's go. Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Joseph Clough, and this is episode 881. Now, in today's episode, we're talking about the subject of imposter syndrome, but with a bit of a different twist than usual, because a lot of the time, we think about our imposter syndrome as if it's a lonely journey, we experience it, very isolating, we feel stuck, and we don't know what to do. And I want us to have a thought process around the varying ranges of imposter syndrome. When you think about it, what is the purpose of imposter syndrome? And if you don't know what imposter syndrome is, I want you to think about it as being found out, feeling as if you're in your career, in your job, in your business, even in your relationship, and you fear you're going to be found out for being like a fraud, or found out that you weren't capable to fulfill that, or to be that partner, or to go up into your career. You just kind of feel like you haven't got the qualities or the abilities, even if you know them logically. There's a part of you on the inside that feels like it's gonna be found out. So that is what hypnosis, that is what imposter syndrome is. And there's gonna be varying levels. So absolutely, protection is the main one, right? We wanna make sure we're safe. We wanna make sure that we don't get found out, or we don't push ourselves in a situation where we may fail, or we may fear what people think of us. And that's why we tend to play small. But another variation of imposter syndrome is, like, think of this as a secondary, which I don't really talk about too often, which is keeping you in check. Like, if you were just so confident in an over-competent way, or would it be overcompetent? But overconfident or egotistical way, you might go and do things which gets you into trouble. If you're super confident without the skill set or the ability, you'll just make mistakes. You will have bad relationships. You will take on tasks which you cannot fulfill, which will create failure. So also think of imposter syndrome as keeping you in check. so you don't do things which will actually hurt you emotionally or physically, development-wise, consciously and unconsciously in the future. So that means, is there a level of warranted imposter syndrome? And that's a thought I've been thinking about. And I'll tell you why. Because although I speak about imposter syndrome, although that is one thing that I really do as my business, yes, I've got all my hypnosis sessions, but one thing I'm really into mainly is like my main program, which is to let go of anxiety, fear, worry, and the imposter syndrome, because I went through that too. And it made me think about, even presently, do I experience sometimes the imposter syndrome? Yeah, I do. And I do think it keeps me in check sometimes. I remember years ago, I was about 22, 23, and I was running a seminar, and there's about 30 people on this seminar. And someone came up to me who was in their 70s, and I said, like, what kind of brought you to this seminar? And of course, well, not of course, there's a bit of the imposter syndrome kicking in. They were there to obviously see me. But in that moment, it made me think, how could someone in their 70s want to learn someone who's from like 23, 22 years old? So even at that point, there was that part of me thinking, why are they here? What's about me? And sometimes when I think about my episode downloads, where we're almost between YouTube and the podcast and the podcast episodes, so this being episode 881, we've done about 16 million downloads, I think. Or we're almost at that point, or maybe a little bit over it. And it makes me go, oh my goodness, why are people listening to me? But I think in a way, it keeps me in check. It keeps me a bit more humble. Like, I'm very grateful for the views. So I'm not going, oh my goodness, I shouldn't be doing this. But it does allow me to kind of keep myself in check a little bit. So know that the imposter syndrome, to the smallest degree, can not only, yes, fundamentally try to protect you in a very overwhelming, inappropriate way that you will self-sabotage, you will self-sedate, you will have failures in health, relationships, career, but there's also that small part of the intention, which is to make you humble, to make you be prepared in case of something happening. So we can have that frame of perspective. And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about today, to make you know you're not alone, is that there are so many people who experience imposter syndrome who you would probably think shouldn't even be having imposter syndrome. Because there's a couple of levels of the application of imposter syndrome. The first one is, as we learn something new, or we've been doing something for a while, and let's just say, not like no success, but say a less of a success as the second example I'm going to be giving you. Because we don't know what we don't know, because we have limiting beliefs, we can have imposter syndrome. We can question ourselves, we can have that inner critic. But then the second level of imposter syndrome is when you make it super successful. In other words, you have all the money you could ever want. You have all the success and fame that you'd ever want. And let's just say you don't want the fame, but maybe it could be like recognition. So if you become a CEO, you're going to be looked up upon. You're going to be put on a pedestal. So that second level gets even scarier because you have so much more to lose. So if you are a CEO of a company, you go, everyone's relying on me. It's not just me in the beginning as being an employee at the lower levels. I'm at this higher level now. People are looking up to me, relying on me. Do I have what it takes? Same thing with the money. Now I've got all this money in abundance, whether it be owning your own business or as an employee, but you're earning hundreds of thousands of dollars, even $500,000 per year. You might go, what if I get found out and I lose all this money, all this security for my family? Do I have to do this job? Do I have to go down? There's lots of these variants from the lower level, metaphorically, to the higher level of having achieved a great level of success in the fear that you might get found out and then lose all of that success, whether it be materialistically or whether it be how people perceive you for being found out. So know there are two levels. And the reason why I want to talk about those two levels is depending where you are on those two levels, you can be prepared for them in the future to be able to deal with them, right? Because I would hate you to have the, say, metaphorical lower imposter syndrome, to then let that go, rise up, and then have the bigger one, which has more of the potentiality to lose things. Because when I work with a lot of entrepreneurs, they definitely feel that way. The business owners, or even some of the celebrities I've worked with, from award-winning directors, for example, in film, like ones which have been #1, ones where the director has won like huge awards, they have this feeling of imposter syndrome. Or the athletes, like particularly the ones I've worked with in football or soccer, if you're in America, they have this high level of success and they've got to perform every single day in the training or on the pitch in case they get transferred, in case the crowd turns on that person. So there's a lot of this added pressure, and I want you to know that you can deal with both of those. The main thing is you want to let go of that core limiting belief, which kind of creates the imposter syndrome. But the very nature of you knowing what could happen allows you time to prepare to be able to do something different. So I thought it'd be a little bit fun today to be able to go, well, who are these people who are crazy, crazy successful, who you would never think would experience imposter syndrome, yet do? And that will lead you to bridge the gap to realize that you're not alone. So #1, Tom Hanks. If you think about all the films that Tom Hanks has been in, like the spanning of his career from like, I remember growing up watching like Big all the way up to present day, all of those crazy movies which he's done prolifically well at. Here's what he actually said. No matter what we've done, there comes a point where you think, how did I get here? When are they going to discover that I am, in fact, a fraud and take everything away from me? That is what Tom Hanks said. Despite having the legacy of movies, like from the Forrest Gumps to Captain Phillips, all the amazing movies he's ever done, he still has that belief system. So Tom Hanks, if you're listening, go ahead and reach out to me. I can help with that. But seriously though, we've also got, say, Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga said in a HBO special, she confessed, "I still sometimes feel like a loser kid in high school. I just have to pick myself up and tell myself that I'm a superstar every morning so that I can get through this day and be there for my fans for what they need me to be." So think about that. Having to pretend, so-called pretend to be a superstar to please the fans, like that battle every single day. So we now know there are people out there who are super successful, who you look up to, who you might think, and here's the interesting thing, if you're an actor or a singer, or I guess Lady Gaga's an actress and a singer, you may be putting these people up on a high pedestal thinking they're perfect. How could I ever achieve something like that? How could I possibly do that? Because of our own imposter syndrome, but realize other people experience these things too. I like to sometimes say that when you are thinking about what people are thinking of you, guess what they're really doing? They're thinking what they think people like you are thinking of them. We're in this perception of taking things so personally. So when you think you're being judged, the chances are they feel like they're being judged by you, that they may fail and what you might think of them failing or saying the wrong thing. Sometimes we've got to get out of our own head. So another one on the business side of things is Howard Schultz, and he is former chairman and CEO of Starbucks. Here's what he said. Very few people, whether you've been in that job before, in other words, being a chairman or a CEO. So I'll start that again. Very few people, whether you've been in that job before or not, get into that seat and believe today that they are now qualified to be a CEO. They're not going to tell you that, but it's true. So they don't think, like very successful people, don't think they feel like they're qualified to be that. Even though historically in business and promotions, they've done perfect on paper, they still question the reality of what's happening based on their perception of self. And you may resonate with that personally because maybe on paper, you could write down everything. Like if you were to write down all the qualities of what your friends think of you. If you were to write down, this wouldn't work for me, but maybe you went to university and you had all these qualifications. Maybe you've had, this would more apply to me because I've been doing this for say 20 years or actually 22 plus years. I've got the data of experience, so maybe you've been in your job for X amount of years, so you've got the practice, right? You may have practice and the qualifications, but you might on paper go, I still don't believe it. In fact, you could write everything on paper, put it in an envelope, send it away, forget about it, for it to come back to you, open up the envelope and go, oh my goodness, this person is amazing. I wish I had all these things. And in reality, that is you, but you just forgot. So recognize that people who are very successful, which has all the data, all the historic success in the business world, they can still feel like a fraud or an imposter. Okay, let's keep going down the list a little bit. So this is from Maisie Williams. So I just know of her from the Games of Thrones. She was one of the Arya Stark or some, I can't remember, one of the younger sibling of that. And in an interview, she said, I think even being an actress for over a decade now, I still have imposter syndrome, where you ask yourself, oh, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? So now think about that one. That is not thinking that you may fail, but is this what I'm supposed to be doing? Do I have like the mindset to deal with this? Like, should I be here? Am I supposed to be an actress or an actor? Or for you, it could be to be a therapist, to be a practitioner, or to be your own business, to be in a relationship. You may question yourself. So recognize and know that some other people feel the exact same way. So this is, I don't actually know of her, but I've seen, so in England we have like the Dragon's Den, although I live in America. In America, then they created a show off the back of Dragon's Den called Shark Tank, and one of the judges, I'm going to get the name all wrong, is it Barbara Corcoran? If I got the name wrong, I do apologize. But this is what she said. Who doesn't suffer from imposter syndrome? Even when I sold my business for $66 million, I felt like an absolute fraud. So even having made the success, having sold the company to pass it on, still feeling like a fraud. So in that context, not even in the situation anymore, because the business has been sold for $66 million, yet they felt like a fraud still. And let's go for this one, Tina Fey. So the, what would you say, comedian actress. She says, the beauty of imposter syndrome is you facilitate between extreme egomania and a complete feeling of I'm a fraud. Oh God, if they're onto me, I'm a fraud. So think about that one. The two cycles then, I spoke about that near the beginning of like that egomania, or the positive side, like checking in your ego, but also if you're getting all this attention from people, it might feed the egomania, but also on the flip side of the equation, falling all the way back to, oh my God, they're onto me, I'm a fraud. So imagine that kind of that seesaw of going back and forth. So remember, sometimes if we have a heightened level of success, we can have a heightened level of feeling like a fraud or imposter syndrome. So they're just a few people that I looked into this week. And once again, the reason why I wanted to do this episode is hopefully it makes you resonate a little bit that you're not alone, to make you think about people who you may look up to or admire and think that they're just perfect in every way. Like, I would never think Tom Hanks as feeling like an imposter. To make you realize the person that maybe I've been comparing myself to still experiences this level of imposter syndrome, despite them having all of that success, despite having the track record. And then you can look back on yourself and go, now I feel like I'm less alone. Maybe I won't be comparing myself to all these people because they're going through things. Like I said, sometimes I get a little bit about it myself, and I like to think that's the positive ego check to make sure that I'm intentionally trying to be humble in what I do and not fall in to all the nice reviews that I get, which I love, by the way. I'm so grateful for them. And I accept them because I think it's a dishonor to negate someone else's opinion, but also I've got to keep myself in check to keep on learning and growing, because I don't want to rest on my laurels of what I've been doing, because I want to improve upon what I'm doing. But remember, you're not alone. And then we talked about in the beginning those two levels. The first one is the beginning levels of imposter syndrome, which you may remain stuck at until you let go. But then the second one being when you have a heightened greater success, whether that be fame, whether it be wealth, whether it be success in a relationship, or any situation. It doesn't have to be external, it could be just the internal success. You may increase that level of imposter syndrome because there's more for you to lose. So whatever happens, now you have a choice. You have a choice to start to deal with things before they get out of control. And my advice as always is don't focus on the symptom, because what is a symptom of imposter syndrome? Maybe it is that sedation. Maybe it is a form of playing small or escapism, self-sabotage, anxiety, fear, fear of what people think, fear of being rejected, fear of success, all of those fears not being enough, whatever it may be. Maybe you have all or some of those, but those can be symptoms. And I do not want you to work on symptoms. Those are things that are present. They show up in your environment. Use those systems or symptoms even to lead you back to the root cause. It's sometimes hard, and I've been doing a video on this just yesterday, whereas doing it by yourself can be hard, but it's not as hard as doing nothing. Because doing nothing means you're staying in pain. Doing nothing means you're still playing small and you'll always still feel like that imposter. So doing something, even if it is by yourself, like if you don't get expert help, it is far better than doing nothing. So do something. And I don't mind what it is for you, whatever resonates with you. Yes, you can go the faster route. You can work with someone like myself if you are experiencing imposter syndrome, because that's what I really work with. But either way, do something, because staying the same is always going to be more painful. And to try with my best of intentions to wake us up to that. What's it going to be like if we have the next decades of feeling the same and remaining the same? It's not going to feel nice. So yeah, feel a bit of that. That's not going to feel nice. But then think, on the contrary, if I were to have the next rest of my life, not just decade, the rest of my life, being free of all imposter syndrome, Think about the new experiences, new relationships and friendships that you'll be having, the wealth and abundance, if that is something that you really, really want. Where it be the health, that means you're not self-sabotaging yourself. And now we know the two paths. And I'd like to think the exciting path of doing the work, even if it's a challenge to get there, nothing wrong with a challenge, will lead you to the biggest transformation in your life. So I hope you got value from that, just to make sure that you don't feel alone. There's people out there who are very, very successful who you'd never think had imposter syndrome. And that means we don't have to compare ourselves to them. Compare yourself from where you were yesterday, 1 week ago, 1 year ago. That should be your comparison. If you're not getting the results, do the work and keep on getting better and stronger in the most powerful way. Now, of course, you can always listen to my app to be able to support you, or if you are ready to go all in, and yes, there is an investment because there's a custom and tailored system working with us. You can go to josephclough.info/talk, where you fill out an application and then you attend your one-to-one consultation call. On that one-to-one consultation call, you will get clear with you exactly what you want to let go of, exactly what you want to achieve, figure out what's kind of getting in the way. And if we can solve it, we'll say yes. We may invite you into the program. You've got to be invested in time and money, because there is an investment, like I said. If you haven't got the financial abundance to do so, listen to the free work. That's why I love helping people. That's why we're at 881, I think I said in the beginning. I love helping for free as much as possible. But with that, my friend, just so you know, go to josephclough.info/talk if you did want to go all in. But with that, I look forward to speaking to you on a future episode. Many thanks and goodbye.